In this presentation, my group will analyze why Disney Company decided to set up Disney Plus, and this is our group member list. Here is a content table of our presentation. It is divided into 5 parts. The first part is the introduction about Disney Company and Disney Plus. The second part is the reason why Disney decided to launch Disney Plus by comparing the advantages and disadvantages. The third part is the outcome of this decision, including long-term and short-term results, as well as some other factors. The fourth part is the analysis on whether Disney made a good decision, depending on the analysis from part 3. And the last part is some suggestions that may be useful to improve Disney Plus. Let's start from the first part, the introduction about Disney and Disney Plus. The Walt Disney Company is a world-famous company that I believe most people in this class may have the knowledge about it. The company was founded by Walt Disney in 1923, and it was first founded as an animation company. Then it divided itself into different areas, like film, television, and theme parks. In order to further expand the market, Disney released direct-to-customer streaming media, including Disney Plus, in September 2019. As Disney Plus is a kind of streaming media, before I introduce to Disney Plus, it is important for us to know what is streaming media. From Wikipedia, we can see that the streaming media is a multimedia that is constantly received by and presented to an end user while being delivered by a provider. Compared with traditional media like the television and newspaper, stream media focus on constant process, which means that the transfer process between the provider and the receiver is real-time. Stream media can save the space of storing date and time, as there is no need for us to download the date. Now let's focus on Disney Plus. Disney Plus is a new streaming service that houses much of the content created by the Walt Disney Company, including about 500 films and more than 7,000 TV drama programs. Until of April 8, 2020, Disney Plus has over 50 million paid users worldwide.
I'm Hou Kaiyan. I will explain why Disney chose to launch Disney Plus. First, before launching the platform, Disney was facing a severe problem that more and more Disney users flowed to their competitors like Netflix. The loss of customers would have a negative impact on Disney's future revenue. Also, their underlying consideration were the development of online entertainment and digital transformation. What's more, Disney made a trade-off between costs and benefits. Considering these 3 factors, Disney desired to construct their own streaming media platform as soon as possible to achieve 3 goals: keep and further increase the number of their users, implement transformation from traditional media to streaming media, and earn more profits. In the following slides, I will focus on analyzing the trade-off. There is the trade-off between launch Disney Plus and its alternative. The alternative is that in the previous years, Disney chose to sell the copyright of some dramas to streaming media platforms like Netflix. To analyze relevant cost of these 2 alternatives, I use 2 steps. First step is to eliminate costs and benefits that do not differ between alternatives. There are 2 parts for cost. Some cost contains that Disney acquired 20th Century Fox and purchased a large number of shares of Hulu. Future cost involves in the future investment in Hulu and ESPN Plus to further attract targeted customers of these 2 platforms. As for benefits, I think both alternatives can help Disney gain huge revenues. Second step is to use the remaining costs and benefits that do differ between alternatives in making the decision. If Disney decides to launch Disney Plus, here are the additional costs and benefits that they will face. As for cost, firstly, Disney needs to consider the cost of operating Disney Plus and construct a mature system to maintain its operation. Moreover, setting up Disney's own platform means they must provide funds by themselves to create new movies or dramas performed by the characters on the Disney copyrights. Meanwhile, they will undertake the risk whether their products are of good or bad quality. As for benefits, Disney's stock price may increase a lot because Disney IPs owned showed on Disney Plus can resonate with users and make the platform attractive, which largely boosts the investors' confidence. Also, when the influence of Disney Plus is rapidly expanding, it may be a good choice to realize its IP. For example, Disney Plus can provide a platform for live commerce in the future. For the next two benefits, I'd like to introduce the operating structure of Disney first. We can see that Disney Plus belongs to the segment direct to customer and international. It indicates that Disney possesses absolute self-decision rights to operate their IPs on the platform. They can decide alone when and what kind of dramas or movies they will create so that they can maximize their profits. Meanwhile, during the process of constructing and developing Disney Plus, each segment will connect with each other more tightly. For example, Disney can take advantage of their mature media network to advertise Disney Plus. On the whole, benefits acquired through launching Disney Plus are larger than its costs.
I will talk about the consequence and influence of launching Disney Plus. I will try to analyze it from the perspective of relevant managerial accounting, serious, as well as non-financial factors. First, let's look at this contribution format of income statement of the company. After launching Disney Plus, though the total variable expense increased, the sales also increased, and the company has a contribution margin of $171 million. The company's net operating loss decreased, so the company actually benefit from this new segment. And from the company's balanced scorecard, we can know that the decision of launching Disney Plus increased a channel of streaming media for Disney, and their customer will have more options to choose when watching their movies. Their diversified needs is satisfied. It also helped the company to attract more customers, especially those teenagers who prefer to watch movies on their mobile devices rather than go to the theaters. With more customers, more profit can be gained by the company. However, I would say that the company's short-term profit will decrease because launching Disney's own streaming media means ending partnership with other streaming platforms such as Netflix, and the company may suffer a loss on the royalty fees. And launching Disney Plus also means a lot of input costs are required upfront, which won't have return in a short period. However, the company will benefit greatly from this decision because Disney Plus will better promote Disney's whole industrial chain. Through Disney Plus, its subscribers may keep contact with the brand and its production every day, instead of just occasionally watching movies in the cinema or outings in the same parks. And Disney Plus will be more conducive to Disney's direct access to user and fan data to know whether they like their movie or not. This helps the company to make better decisions on eliminating unpopular products in order to save cost and focus resource on the popular ones. And all these data and advertising and marketing initiatives will help Disney sell more tickets of their parks, their resort, and their movies, and sell more of their licensed and manufactured products, which contribute to nearly half of the company's revenues. So they will have a large profit from this decision in the long term.
Hello everyone, I'm Jeffrey. Then let me introduce you to my evolution of Disney's decision. Due to the lack of information about the operation cost of Disney Plus in currently searchable data, we can only estimate the operating cost of Disney Plus based on part of public data to infer the break-even point. Then how much will the whole thing cost? Development of the Disney Plus platform alone is costing hundreds of millions of dollars. Disney disclosed that investments in ESPN and Disney Plus resulted in a 2,000 million negative impact on operating income in the first quarter. About 1/3 of that, 660 million, is tied to Disney. The 1,330 million or so loss associated with ESPN may be an indicator of ongoing costs associated with Disney's streaming service after launch. Disney's investments in content and marketing will likely be bigger for Disney Plus, but the technology back-end may be less expensive due to less live streaming and a lack of advertising on the platform. Based on the roughly 160 million in content and operating costs for ESPN last quarter, Disney Plus will likely cost more than 700 million per quarter once it launches. That number could climb much higher if Disney doubles down on content or marketing expenses. Then we should add it all together. When you add in the 400 million in lost annual operating income from its licensing deals, Disney's annual costs, including opportunity costs for Disney Plus after launch, could be around $5 billion. According to TenchCrunch, the number of Disney Plus subscriptions has grown much faster than expected, with 60 million expected by 2024. Now we're very close by April 2020. Following this trend, around 90 million subscriptions are expected by the end of the second quarter of 2021. According to Disney's Plus price of $5.56 per month, we can roughly estimate that the break-even point of the Disney Plus project is about 90 million subscribers. Disney Plus has embarked on the COVID-19 express train to provide people with a movie watch experience without leaving home. It's not hard to see that Disney company launch of Disney Plus is a very right choice in the long run. Although it may affect the overall revenue of the Walt Disney company in the short term, with the gradual development of the streaming media business, the share price of Disney is also slow returning to the pre-epidemic level in the turbulent period. Disney Plus is the only bright spot in the COVID-19 epidemic.
Hello everyone, I'm Qi Jiashun, and today our group will do the recommendation based on the theory of constraint to the Disney company when they launching the Disney Plus. Firstly, let me introduce the theory of constraint. Theory of constraint is an overall management concept that recognizes that constraint on any system will limit the maximize level of performance that the system can obtain relatively to its goals. It includes 5 parts from identifying an issue to identify another issue. And in this presentation, we will discuss more on the internal constraints. Firstly, identifying the constraints of Disney Plus through analyzing, we found that in the internal constraint, the supply of content is niche and cannot satisfy the demand of the consumer. Secondly, Disney could exploit the constraint which through the way that do the integration of Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN Plus to provide more content to the consumer and maximizing the paying audience. Thirdly, Disney should subordinate everything else to the constraint, including investing more on the integration or acquiring Hulu and ESPN Plus fully to get a full control of them to satisfy more consumer. Fourthly, if step 2 and step 3 are useless, they can use this step to set up new way, like setting up a new company that provide the humorous content to satisfy another kinds of audience to enrich their revenue. Finally, if Disney resolve previous constraint, they need to find new constraint because there is always bottleneck in the business world. This is our conclusion part on the right hand side, and this is our summary of our presentation. Although launching the Disney Plus may decrease the short-term profits of Disney, it will help increase long-term profits as well as make it survive during the coronavirus pandemic. And thanks for listening to our presentation, and this is our reference list. Thank you.